Hi everyone, welcome to the Nelson. It is me, posted by Callum, joined by Tettey and JimMac247. Thanks for joining. If you're new here, please subscribe. Quite a bit has happened recently in the world of Norwich. I think since the last podcast, we are now title winners, thanks to a great 4-1 win against Reading. So that's all great and all sweet. This video today, though, comes out with the news. I think it's obviously caused some opinion. I think when you use your head, it maybe makes sense, but obviously when you think with your heart, it's really sad that two players, Mario Vrancic and Alex Tettey, will both be leaving Norwich City as their contracts expire. Jack, aka
Oh,
Tettey, I guess this is especially painful for you. Just talk to me how you're feeling at the moment.
uh, I mean, honestly, it's obviously sad, and I've loved Tettey ever since he's been here. I mean, in all honesty, I've said this plenty of times. I've been expecting this every season for the past 4 years.
Yeah,
It's just obviously how with him getting a lot older, you know that he'll go eventually. We'll bring in someone newer and fresher, and yeah, it's fair enough. Obviously, because of how soon it was to near 10 years, I would have loved one more year. But obviously, going into the Premier League, we all know that he's not going to be the most useful player. I mean, good for behind the scenes, but it's obviously all good things have to come to an end, and he's been a fantastic servant. And obviously,
yeah,
we can't forget about Vrancic as well. The 4 years he's been with us, and it obviously didn't start off very well. A bit slow start. It wasn't particularly the best, but how important he was in the 18-19 season. Obviously, he did prove his worth this season as well. A few late goals early in the season, and obviously he's not really broken in much into the team, but he's obviously he's been pivotal at times. And yeah, it's a
yeah,
sad day today, but you know, credit to them
yeah.
obviously.
We'll speak. Obviously, you spoke a lot about Tettey and also a bit about Vrancic there. James, we'll move on to Vrancic. Are you a bit because Tettey? I understand this. He's obviously in very much in the later part of his career. Vrancic again, he's quite old, but he can still maybe get another big contract somewhere, like on a decent wage. And I guess that was the thought behind Norwich. If they were going to give him a new contract, he'd want quite a decent sized wage that maybe he wouldn't justify at Norwich by not playing all the time. What do you think about Vrancic leaving, James? Are you sort of do you agree with it?
I suppose I can understand why they do it. Simply for like you literally just said, they probably get a big wage for a player that probably would not be a starter,
Yeah,
especially going up to the Premier League where his wages would probably go up anyway. Um, and he'd probably want more, knowing the fact that he would get a lot more money just for being a Premier League, of course. So it's a shame 'cause I feel as though he could be a decent backup, but at the same time, I can understand why they did it. And I feel as though they're probably. I suppose their thought process behind it is they've known that they're going to be. They know the fact that we're going to be in the Premier League next season for quite some time now, and probably quite some time before that it was like mathematically confirmed. So they probably made that decision thinking they probably found somebody or a couple of players here or there that might be a better backup player or somebody that can step in next season. So but I'm
yeah,
just thinking as well, it's going to be so awkward starting these podcasts saying hello to totally Tettey and not being here anymore.
yeah. He's
It's
got
just
that
like
name for life now, hasn't he? But
Yeah.
it is what it is. But
if you
I
see
think
me
regarding
smirking like that, then everyone you see me smirking. That's what I'm thinking about all the time. 'Cause I can't quite get over that anymore.
that's it. That's what's on your mind. Well, at least you know that. I think for Vrancic, it's definitely the case of I'm sure people will think, is he going to go maybe back to Bundesliga 2 or go abroad? I think that could happen. But also, if there weren't championship teams looking at him, like I don't know, Bristol City, Birmingham, Huddersfield, I'd be really surprised because he has his passing, set pieces. He's got a really impressive skill set for the championship, and I think obviously at the he might have to take a bit of a pay cut, or he might find a team willing to give him that big contract that maybe he's on a similar wage to now for his final few years of his prime. We don't obviously know exactly where he'll go. It wouldn't surprise me too. I mean, Jack, for example, if we look at players like maybe Hernandez and Steeperman, players from that Farker era who came in that maybe 2017, 2018 kind of time. Are they players that you think could be maybe moved on to other championship clubs this summer window as we look to maybe strengthen for the Premier League?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised about that. I think again, them two you've mentioned have been good servants of us as well, and I mean, more so, I mean, we didn't really see much of Seaman in the Premier League, and obviously he was very useful in the 18-19 season, but like 19-20, he's probably the only ever 6'2", where how tall he was, centre attacking midfielder, and he looked a bit out of place, but he was important with linking up with Pookie then. But I mean, obviously we've got better players than him definitely, and we need that, and obviously as we always keep saying, whether we keep Buendia and Campbell or not, I don't know. But obviously we've got Kieran down, he's been vital for us at the end of this season, and I'd like to see him obviously play a lot more, and obviously, wanting to give it a good go in the Premier League, we need to improve the squad. And it's all good and saying, given the ones who helped us got there, give us a chance, a bit like last time. You still need to obviously add a bit of quality, and I think that's what that's what the problem was last time. And I'm not going to blame that fully, but obviously, and again, we can't really just make Project Restart the old blame. But then again, it showed that we had no quality. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell whether they will actually go, or someone's willing to buy them. But I don't know. It's a funny one. Obviously, their contracts aren't running out just yet. But I don't know.
It's you never know. Some players from this era could still be good, maybe fringe players, squad players, and I'm sure not everyone will leave. But it wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of chopping and changing, this time round. I mean, I still think we need another number 10 style player. I know we've got Dowell, as you said, but as you spoke about the quality, we need some flair, some creativity. Campbell has that year remaining on his contract. Whether he signs a new one, we don't know. Buendia, he's fantastic, but he plays more to that right. We need, we just need to be getting some more Premier League quality, really. But I think, if we go for Tettey and Vrancic now, because it's them two that have left, I'll start with you, Jack, as it's appropriate because of your name. What is your favourite Alex Tettey moment in a Norwich shirt?
I mean, everyone's going to be screaming about the Sunderland goal. Obviously, whenever we talk about Tettey, you have to mention the goal against Sunderland, and it's arguably his best goal. But whenever people ask me about this, I always say his goal against Man United, because I was there that day. I will never forget that, because obviously it was my first actual Norwich City away win I've witnessed live, which was, what a game to pick. And it was right near Christmas time, and it was obviously Norwich's first, I think, since 1989, first win at Old Trafford, which made it more iconic. And obviously, the way he scored, right, it wasn't distracting. I think it was the other end, but at Old Trafford, the Tettey toe punt or toe poke, however you want to call it, iconic. I mean, against one of the best goalkeepers in the world, David De Gea, and to put us 2-0 up, I won't forget that. So that is definitely my number one Tettey moment.
One of my favourite Tettey moments is that against Preston North End a couple of years ago, he had a really bad game. It was one of Tettey's worst games in Norwich. He just really did. It was just really, really poor. I mean, it wasn't a great team performance, to be fair. But then near the end, he just scores an absolute screamer against Declan Rudd, and it just wasn't it with his wrong. It was with
his left foot. Yeah, it was a cracking goal, and up there with obviously the Sunderland game. And I'm still bitter because I had to miss that game because I finished work late. And yeah, I mean, I wait so long for a Tettey goal, and I missed it. I was there for the Sheffield United goal, his last goal, which was good enough, but obviously that was his worst ever performance. He admitted that, and that's why he went and apologised. Just to say sorry, but shows how Tettey is.
Unless it's his last goal, unless we play Barnsley and we let Tettey take a penalty.
Don't do this to me, Callum.
Sorry, I'm giving you false hope, but I just love that Preston moment was so good because and that game was so weird, wasn't it? Because we played. Who did we play? We played Sheffield United away. We lost that, but we actually didn't play that badly. We played West Brom at home, played some really decent attacking football, but obviously lost 4-3. We played really well against Leeds at the start of the game. Then ultimately they turned us over. We played horribly against Preston, really, but we beat them 2-0. It was just one of them with an absolute Tettey screamer. And it was just one of them moments. But I love that goal from Tettey against Preston for me was fantastic. James, got a few from this guy too. Favourite Vrancic moment?
Leeds away when he scores a free kick. And then, of course, he gets a second as well. later on. Weirdly, the weirdest thing about that is I had the typical case of the man flu at that time, and I had to leave like uni like really really early, and then like a couple of days later, that Leeds game happened, and my dad went down to the pub, and usually I would join him, and I probably would have done if it was just a normal take case of cold, but I just remember I just like I had to take some, I can't remember what I took. I think I might have taken some adenine extra, I think it's called, or something like that. That gave me an absolute massive boost. So I felt so down and out, and all of a sudden, Vrancic took that free kick, and I was fucking on my feet, despite the fact that I had like a cold that like had wiped me out of the last 3 or 4 days. And I just went. That was an amazing moment as well. So, and of course, that was the moment where I think everybody probably that season where we all thought, we'd probably be going up that season as well.
Yeah,
So that was one of the best
especially
moments there.
yeah, because they'd beaten us 3-0 at home, and when they'd beaten us 3-0 at our place, then we went to Ellen Road and beat them 3-1. I mean, that was, and we went top of the league then, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and that was fantastic. From then on, it was like that belief that we could win the league, which we obviously did. I mean, to get our revenge on Leeds, then that was fantastic. And that Vrancic performance was fantastic. And obviously, the one I'm going to bring up is the Sheffield Wednesday goal as well. I mean, can you get much better than that? Whatever, 97th minute or whatever, final kick of the game. I was watching him. I remember practicing the free kicks, and I was thinking, okay, yeah, he's practicing his free kicks. I don't think he got everyone in, but in the warm ups. But I was thinking, yeah, you can tell Vrancic he was really practicing them, and then near the end you could tell he was focused, and it was just so beautifully taken at the perfect moment. After such a frustrating game when the Sheffield Wednesday keeper should have been sent off, and Fletcher handballed one of their goals.
Don't tell Dan.
Weirdly enough, for me, I don't know why I've got that. Another one of my favourite moments about Vrancic, I don't know why, is the first one I remember of him was when he scored a free kick against Brentford in the first season in the cup or something. In the League Cup, I think. I don't know why I like that moment. I'll think about it a lot, but I just do.
As well. I think
he did, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I think I like that moment so much, just because usually that season it would be James Maddison taking a free kick, if I remember correctly. And it's weird to think that we had someone else take a free kick and score it that season, to be fair. So I don't know why I love that moment so much, but I just do.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. That first season, not a lot of people. I remember going to the games. Quite a few fans really weren't impressed with Vrancic. I remember they used to groan when he was on and all that, and used to say, "Oh," and like even get there. It was a bit of like I think people just didn't get, and it took time for some of these players that came from like Bundesliga 2 to adjust. But when they did adjust, they were fantastic. It's just and I think that was why a lot of people love Vrancic so much, because it was that story of maybe he didn't start off the best, but when he got going, I mean, there wasn't much. But I mean, those final games, the important goals he scored. Every time a masterclass against Sheffield Wednesday, we just love it, and it's disappointing, it's sad, but we move on. We're now back in the Premier League, and I guess what some people will be thinking is that we've got to have some goodbyes that maybe we don't want to make, and I'm sure it will upset all of us very much, and it will be difficult. I didn't know whether to say difficult or different, but it will be both when we go back to Carrow Road, and especially don't see Tettey there. Yeah. Okay. James, what are you going to say?
I was just going to say, I think transfer-wise, it's going to be an interesting one next season as well, because I think you guys were talking about earlier about certain players, but I think what they've decided is, I think I might be wrong, because of course we haven't had the transfer window yet. We still got a game to go this season against Barnsley, but I feel as though they've just made the decision to maybe, of course, get rid of these players now, and then maybe keep the likes of Stiepermann, simply because, just to mention that Oliver Skips, as far as we're concerned, or that it's been announced, people like considering Skip aren't going to be back next season.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, there was. I don't think Quintea will come back, because there was an obligation or option, whatever way you want to look at it, to sign him permanently if we got promoted. Obviously, we have got promoted, but Quintea didn't play enough games, I don't think, to trigger that clause. So it wouldn't surprise me if he just stayed at Villa. In terms of Skip, I think it will be a think the door's completely closed with him yet, but I think it would be a summer of negotiating, and don't be
Yeah, I
surprised
did as
if he
well.
isn't here. But at the same time, I think Norwich will be having those conversations with Spurs. I think the clubs have a good relationship. They will try and get something. It's just that Spurs will want the best deal possible because he's probably a midfielder that he's in their squad. Whether he'd start, it would be better for his development. I've no doubt about that. Oliver Skipp's development coming to Norwich would be fantastic if he was to come and play every game, which you wouldn't get at Spurs. But they'll be thinking about.
It's going to be difficult because I think we were saying earlier in the group chat that we got going. That it's going to be a lot harder to get him back online because Mourinho is not there. I feel as like it's going to be difficult.
I think whatever view it obviously when they get the new manager in, he'll review the situation. He'll have his favourites and he'll make his decision on whether he wants Skip in the squad or not. So that there is that. But I think it's Oliver Skip will know that coming to Norwich would benefit him, but we've got to see what Spurs think. It might be that we have to pay quite a high loan fee. They'll be negotiating for the best deal for them as well. So it wouldn't. I don't think the door's completely closed regarding Skip, but I think it will be like a whole summer of negotiating, and I'd like to see him back. I'm sure. Obviously, you two are exactly the same.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely.
That mostly because I think we're lacking in depth now as well.
We need some centre mids.
Which is, I think, I don't know whether people might agree, but I feel as though that's maybe why Steeperman should stay this summer, just so we could have that little. Maybe he's not Premier League quality, but just to have that little bit of depth in there, just as a backup, really.
But I didn't see Steve. I might be completely wrong here, but did Steeperman celebrate with the guys the other day when we won the league? Because I didn't see him on the.
I didn't see him. No, he was definitely there when we it was the Bournemouth game when we'd already won promotion. I can't for the life of me because obviously because we know not much has been posted with obviously the social media blackout, and I've not had the chance to look at the City view, the new episode, because that's now out. Obviously, from the pictures of Sin, I've not seen him anywhere, but that's probably because I've not had a proper look at it. But he might have been in the background because I think go on.
Shout out to the City view for my face being on the tunnel, by the way.
As it always is.
Oh yeah, he was there. He was just taking a look. He was there.
Never mind. That was me starting a potential transfer rumor, and it's already been done.
I was gonna say I spotted Sam Byram in the background in one of the pictures, so he's got to be there eventually.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure, but obviously, as you said, there was less posting. But yeah, no, I think that's a good point from James. And we have got to be careful. We can't get rid of everybody, but I think at the same time, it's almost got to be. We've got to be thinking about a new era because that Webber/Farke era is nearly over now. I mean, I know Webber has a year left. Whether Farke will stay beyond that, I do think losing them both at the same time would be difficult, and recruiting the next people in is going to be a huge thing for us. So we now need to be thinking about the next 5 years after this one, obviously, if that makes sense. So who's going to be here, who remains, and who goes? That will be interesting to see. But I don't know if we want to talk about anything else today, but I think that's a good length, and we've addressed the situation pretty well. We will miss you both, Alex Tettey and Mario Vrancic. Thank you for everything you've done at Norwich City, and thank you guys for watching the Nelson. Subscribe if you're new. I've been posted by Callum with Totally Tettey, JimMac247, and we will see you next time.